Welcome to The Grant, the EU funding podcast. The Grant.
My name is Niels Winter, and I am the creator, editor, and host of The Grant. The Grant is an independent, non-commercial podcast initiative with the ambition to dig into all corners of the EU R&D funding system on topics of interest for the full EU R&D funding community. Rural business support is a quite distinct exercise, especially when it comes to attracting EU funding to the support organization or members and stakeholders. These communities are notoriously low on resources to carry out more than the bare necessities, simply because of the lack of taxpayers and industry. There are an endless amount of municipalities and regions in Europe that have this as a baseline condition. To be able to do more in the community, some local business support units move their eyes towards the EU funding opportunities to leverage their activity with external funding. Project Manager Mette Lerdorf is working for the local business support organization Stevns Business Council in a rural region south of Copenhagen, Denmark. She's a good old contact, and of course I have pushed her for a while to come by the virtual podcast studio to share the same struggle that many of you out there are fighting every day. Mette shares with us how they work together with the local authorities in the municipality and what approach she is carrying out to attract the much needed external funding for their region. The episode offers insights on how to work with the EU funding area under conditions with few resources. Please enjoy.
Grant. Welcome to The Grant, the EU funding podcast. Today, as actually with a couple of my latest recordings, it's old context that I have in. It's nice to keep having a flow of people that I have been meeting years ago, and some of them I'm still collaborating with. Mette, welcome.
Thank you.
Nice to have you in. And actually, you're not one of these that I haven't seen for a long time. We're actually collaborating now.
Yeah, that's true. We collaborate on a project regarding international students and labor force.
Indeed. And I keep telling people that I have stopped working with EU funding projects because it was horrific and it destroyed my mental state. But this is actually an EU project.
Yeah, you could say that it's funded by the Danish government, but we try to reach out to the EU.
It's co-funded by the social fund.
Okay, that's true. That's EU money, but still, it comes from Denmark. It's handed out by the Danish government as well.
Yeah. Anyways, today we're going to have a talk because you work for a local business support organization.
Yeah.
And this is what we're going to talk about today. And I've been putting a hook in you for a while now, even when I had just started up the podcast, because I know you've been working with EU funding for a while, and I thought it would be nice to have a local perspective how smaller business support organizations they can use EU funding for the activities that they do to support local businesses. That's the motivation here. Before we move into the topic, we're going to talk about the organization today. So that's sort of the topic here. But still, can you give a short introduction to the organization you work for?
Yeah, sure. My name is Mette Lerdorf, and I work as a project consultant at Stevns Business Council. We are a very small organization. We are only 5 employees, and my colleagues primarily work with business development in the companies that are located in the municipality of Stevns, which is located in the eastern part of Denmark. Yeah, so I have a different role than my colleagues. Because I'm more project oriented, both in Danish projects and in EU projects.
Mm-hmm. Going to get back to that in a second, because that's what we're going to talk about in the full episode, right? But as an organization, it's a member-based organization, yeah? Yeah. Do you get any money from public authorities? Is there anything that you get support?
Yeah. We get some of our funding from the municipality,
Mm-hmm.
And we have a collaboration agreement with them that is planned every 4th year.
Mm.
So we get funding annually, but we renew our collaboration agreement every 4th year. And we've just signed the new contract for the next 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
So we know the strategy for the municipality, and now we are going to dig into how we are going to do the job for the next 4 years.
Yeah. And just to explain, listeners, these kind of organizations, they are the sort of the municipality's arm towards the local local business support. So making sure that businesses, they thrive, offering all kinds of sort of support, training activities, or ways of how they can guiding them in the right direction of where they can, like get labor, or if there are rules and regulations they don't understand, or things like this. And you cover your finest job is actually for the startups and smaller ones, right?
Well, it's also for the established companies. So it's both.
Yeah. But especially the smaller ones, they are the ones that need some, like they need a wingman or woman once in a while.
Yeah, yeah, they do that. So we don't have a lot of companies. We're quite a small municipality. So it's always exciting to be so near to the companies and to the directors of these companies, because we get very much involved in their daily life and in strategic decisions that they make.
Yeah. So we actually already started on the topic here on the fly, and so maybe we just continue a little bit on that. So can you describe a little bit more about the focus you have in the work you do? Now I did on your behalf, I've started to paint it, but can you sort of give the listeners an idea of your key missions, the core things that you need to do as responsibilities as an organization?
So you mean as the business council, and not my
Exactly.
job particularly?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we are. Our finest job is to develop our local businesses, and since we are also becoming a larger tourist attraction, we have this focus as well to develop our tourism businesses. We have the Stevns Klint UNESCO World Heritage Site here, so this is a big focus for us as well. But we also work with can we call it ordinary companies, ranging from carpenters and construction workers and so on.
Yeah.
And the part of our job is also to develop Stevns. We are a rural area,
Mm-hmm.
so we have some you could call them challenges with finding employment, or finding making the companies grow.
And this is also one of the reasons why I actually wanted you in, because you have rural community all over Europe that have the same challenges as you have, and trying to use screaming for external funding to help a little bit support the framework conditions, or at least push some developments for specific sectors that can lift up the region towards like better growth and better conditions and so on. Because you are a rural region, you don't have a lot of companies, big companies. You have a lot of small, like exactly as you said, workers, blue coats. Yeah, so carpenters, electricians, blacksmiths, and all these kind. And then of course mechanics, stuff like this. And then you of course you have agriculture and gardenings.
Yeah.
So it's and so you have all the classic challenges as a rural municipality without a big urban center to pull things forward. You have Køge in the north, but they're not
Yeah.
part of the municipality, so don't pay anything to your municipality box.
No, no. That would be nice actually, but no.
Yeah, and you would have your citizens in the municipality. They would commute, a lot of them, to
Yeah.
Køge or to Copenhagen,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
just north of
It's-
Køge.
Yeah, it's a commuter municipality because there are, of course, it's possible to work within the municipality in the companies. However, I think it's about more than 50% that commute.
Yeah.
Out of the municipality. So it's also interesting for us to think about how could we create more local workplaces, or could we do anything else that could keep people within within our own community and not sending them out.
Yeah. Well, it's about creating employment.
Yeah.
Raising employment, making it attractive to live, to not only live but also work in the region. Because if you lift things up, then there's also attractive things to do, and that of course creates a positive cycle.
Yeah.
But it's damn difficult. I know. I've been working as a EU consultant for the North Denmark EU office, and we had in North Denmark you have a similar situation. In many places, you have Aalborg, which is dragging the whole region, but then you have rural regions that struggle hard. It's driving through Stevns. It's almost picture 1-to-1 the trips I've been doing up there when I've been driving to have meetings with municipalities.
I think that but we are actually trying to do a Danish funded project that will end up in a 10-year strategy in how to remain attractive to citizens and the business life. And that's going to be quite interesting, but that's not the topic here, unfortunately.
No, but because I put here in the rundown, because what we're talking about now is a little bit touching upon the municipality's strategy, business strategy, because this all comes together, right? So what you're doing with EU funding, it's something that is, the motivation for that comes from something that the municipality is doing. So do you have? So I guess the strategy would be a little bit what we're talking about here. Try to keep people in one way or the other. But can you say a few words about it yourself?
So the business strategy from the municipality has just been approved, and it has focused on 4 major themes. Of course, the framework conditions for the companies, and the second is how to make companies more sustainable, not only within themselves, but also trying to develop more sustainable products or services. And then we have a focus on city life development of our local cities. We have one major city which in Danish context is quite small, but this is our major city. And the last one is to focus on education and employment.
Yeah, because these things, the reason why I wanted this, because this you tap into some of these things, I guess. So from your own strategy in the business support unit, there's probably a ping pong between those things. So let's move into talking about you and the organization and how you work with these things. So the first thing I put here is the motivation.
Yeah.
So can you explain a little bit about how you have been working with EU funding traditionally, and when you came in, because you have not been there for so long, but that's been your main target to work with EU funding, right?
Yeah. I've been at the Stevns Business Council since 2022, so almost 2 years now. and I started this job because I thought this could be interesting to work more project oriented. And this was a new position, and previously the Business Council had some focus on Danish funded projects.
Yeah.
They had, I don't know, 1 or 2 projects that they developed and wrote and got money to do. However, they were looking into the potential of development of our rural municipality.
Mhm.
So our board and my director, they thought, well, maybe there could be some opportunity in looking into some of these EU projects, because we know that there's a lot of money there.
Yep.
And traditionally, business councils like where I am, they don't enter into these larger EU projects.
Mm-mm.
There are some myths about entering these projects.
Indeed.
Yeah, that is difficult, and people are
A lot
run
of
down
bureaucracy.
and stressful and
Yeah.
too difficult for small organizations. And when I started, I think it was about that time that the new framework started.
Horizon
And
Europe.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that also came with some adjustments in the applications, and making it easier to to apply and make it easier to do these projects.
Mhm.
So there were some signs that things are getting easier, and yeah, we had some ambitions for Stevns, because we know that the municipality won't be able to support, or don't have the funding to do all these kind of projects that we could do if we had some external funding. So that was kind of the motivation. And
In other words, there would have been a discussion at the board level
Yeah.
on strategically how do we move on, so to say. How do we handle this issue that, okay, this is the money we have. Is that a situation we can change? And then taking a strategic decision, okay, EU funding, it can be challenging, but let's give it a go, sort of. Yeah. Because that's the thing for many local support organizations like the one you work for, Mette, is that they simply don't have the resources to do many things. It's that simple.
Yeah, because it's time consuming, and a lot of these local business councils, they are in part founded by their municipalities, and they may get some private funding from memberships or selling courses and so on. So the employers that are primarily there, they have their task is to do the business development with local companies. So to have this focus is rare.
And the thing is, for instance, I work in a different part of Denmark than you, and working together with the local business support units there, and they have it's a totally different situation, which is also what we talk about in the project we're working together in, right? It's totally different framework conditions. We have hundreds and hundreds of manufacturing companies of both small, medium, large, big industry. There's lots of the local business support units and the municipalities. They of course prioritize. There's a lot more money to work with. Both the member based, the companies have money. They can get more money in from more companies, and the push from the municipality. There's more resources to work with. and to make strategic build up, ram up people working for the business unit. So it's that's a positive cycle, and for you need to change that gridlock of having a rural community with not so much to do with them. So that's the framework conditions you need.
Yeah.
So how did you? So what then? So did you build a strategy around this? How
Yeah.
What happened when you arrived?
The first thing was just to get an overview of the projects, and of course have some discussions with my manager how to proceed with this, because this was new area to the business council and new grounds for me as well. I previously worked with projects, but not of this size. So this was a steep learning curve, learning by doing, contacting secretariats, local contact points. We're very fortunate to have a EU office in our region, and I've had many discussions with them, aiding me in finding some calls, or if they had some partner searches. That was quite helpful. And with regards to our own strategy, it has been the first 2 years now. It has been more, maybe the correct word is opportunistic, because we are open to enter actually any project that fits our needs.
Yeah.
So we have been in contact, or I've been in contact with a lot of consortiums, and we have joined a lot of different consortiums, and seeing if we could get lucky and get one of them funded. So we haven't had a firm strategy, other than we need to be out there, and we need to be in close contact with consortiums that fit our needs. So it's been more, hard work finding these consortiums.
Indeed. And so first of all, well done. You did right. It's because you need to zoom out and see what resources do we have. How do I use my time best? It's only me that needs to do this. So reaching out for the EU office, yes, but that also means that your board made a strategic decision to pay the fee that they take, because I know that the Copenhagen office, it's a member-based office, right?
We have an agreement with them, because the municipality is a member.
Exactly.
And
yeah. So that's something that's very important from your chair, from your desktop, right? That was in place, because then you can use them. And just short explanation to listeners: Denmark has 5 regions. There are 4 EU offices, regional EU offices in Brussels, and they serve. They're sort of the prolonged arm of the regional business support in Brussels, and supporting exactly people like Mette here, organizations, both companies, research, and municipalities on approaching EU funding. So that's where. So that's of course very good, because they have a lot of contacts, and they can also probably have trained you, so to say, on what to do, and help you and support you how to do these things. Probably what also have helped you here is that you might have a board that is patient.
Yeah, that's true. Because because when I started, I was just okay. I started in April, and I checked. I think it was one of the local Interreg calls. Okay, this is in June. In 2 months from now, we're going to find a consortia by then, and we're going to enter our first application, and it's just so much work. and I didn't find a consortia by June to enter, because we also needed to, every time we find something that's interesting for us, I have to go back to my manager and ask, is this relevant for us?
Mm-hmm.
Because I was new in the job, I didn't know at that time so much specific data about the municipality and the companies. So I had to make sure that if I found a project that would be relevant for us. So it was so time consuming to do that, the searching and testing whether this is the right one or not. And when I found some cause that could be interesting for us, I didn't have anybody to collaborate with.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the next problem. Where do I find my partners? And that's actually still an issue, because I still think it's difficult to find relevant partners. And of course, during these 2 years, I've expanded my European network a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it has also been different approaches to these European partners, and some of them has just been an email correspondence, and sometimes it's been more thorough. What is your focus areas, and what are my focus areas? So it's been the contact has been different depending on who I found.
So let's look a little bit into I'm going to try to sort of bullet point the strategy here. So so you started reaching out to the Brussels office. So the network, that's the networking part, that sort of gave you a head start on identifying proposals you could be attached to.
Yeah.
But they couldn't help you that much, because you just said that it's still an issue, right? There's only so much they can do. That's how it is. They are also not. It's like this.
Yeah.
They're good, but they support many people and so on. So it's like this. Did you? What have you done, sort of to then deal with that? Did you go to brokerage events, or do you go to Brussels to physical networking events, or how did you Google things? How do you find your networks, man?
In the first 6 months, I went to some of these brokerage events in Denmark. I hadn't been abroad to do that, but I went to some in Denmark. And the downside of just doing that in Denmark is that you only meet Danish people, people from Danish organizations. And even though some of them could be in relevant partnership with Europeans or other Europeans, I didn't find any European contacts through these Danish events. And some of the contacts I have found through databases. Some of the Interreg programs have project idea databases, and I've been busy writing them. Hi, I'm from Stevns. Would you like to collaborate with us? We think your project is quite interesting. And some of them.
Did that give anything?
I'm just one of the calls, but not all of them.
Yeah. Well, I always say, one of my own proverbs that I made up myself is that when you stir in the soup, meatballs, they come up at the top. That, it's when you start, it might seem effort, like a lot of effort, then you think, oh, nobody's going to revive. But sometimes it actually, when you stir things up, things happen.
Yeah.
But what I can give you of an advice as an old dog within this area, you have brokerage events online, and that was actually happening. Okay, of course, COVID made a difference. So it made a difference to that push for more, but they were actually already doing them online before that. What I have done when I've been in a similar working with the area that I don't know, where I have to open up, so to say, an area that I don't know so good, been booking myself for these brokerage events, because it gives me a chance to see at least a part of the segment from that area who's coming for these things. And then I made a big effort whenever I do these things to go through all participants, even though it might be hundreds, but go through them and then try to book the ones that I think is most. And then it starts to open up, because then you have the meetings. You might not get any invitations based on that, even though you have 20 meetings, but at least you have an access to the brokerage site, because the brokerage site runs afterwards. So you can sort of filter through participants that's been on there, organizations and people and so on and so forth. And that has helped me a lot to understand, to at least open some things up. Because that's sometimes what it requires when you're new within an area, to get an opening into things. Another thing, or another advice that I can give that worked for me, was to look through the Cordis database on projects funded within a specific area. And there you have the consortia for projects that has been funded. And that sometimes you can't see the contact person, but you can always find the project site, and often there would be a contact, a website for the projects. There would be contact for the coordinator, one way there, or at least you get an idea of which organizations work within rural development, within different smart farming or smart rural communities or something like this. So it's just small tips, both for
that's quite good.
Both for you and the listeners out there, because that doesn't take a lot of effort. It takes a little bit of desktop. You need to find the hang of Cordis, how the search keywords and so on, and the brokerage events. It just, you have the sites for that. You can keep out for when things are coming up and then register and so on.
Thanks.
Of course, because it's both for you and for the listeners out there. It's all these things, because it's difficult to navigate in these things sometimes. It's also to ground yourself. Ground yourself and then, okay, look, wait a minute. Let's see, how can I actually open these things up in a way? It can be difficult it can be hazy to find the way.
Because for me sometimes this has just been kind of a black box. And I don't know what I'm searching for sometimes, and I'm just trying. Okay, now I'm looking at the horizon side. Can I find anything? And then I just, at some point, I found out that I could register my interest in some projects. So I'm getting contacts from these. Oh, I can see that you're interested in this Farm to Fork Horizon program. Are you interested in collaborating? Anything? So this yields some leads from time to time. Some of them are not relevant, but some of them are interesting.
Again, it's the soup analogy here, right? It's if you do something, if you try to do something, then something will come back eventually. But
again, it's so time consuming, because there's no right or wrong way to approach this. I've just been trying and opening this black box, and I found some ways, and it works for me. But I'm sure that there are easier or better ways, or other ways at least.
That's the point. That it's there are many because it's so difficult. So just like getting tips and tricks from similar organizations, also how they work. And so it's the more you work with this, the easier it's going to get. How have you developed sort of information material in relation with this when you reach out? Have you developed standard text or something about your organization and the region, or gathered sort of interestees of organizations that would like to join EU projects in the municipality? How are you working with these things?
Not very strategically either. I usually have some kind of standard text. Very short text about Stevns, short about what challenges we have and what we would like to do, and of course this is something that I rewrite depending on whom I'm writing to. If it's something about urban development, it's going to be one pitch, and if it's international export, is going to be another pitch, or tourism. So I have something in standard text, but it's always altered in some way.
Yeah.
I don't have anything of possible collaborators. It also depends upon the call, because
Sure.
some of them would like to have more Danish partners, and some of them would just say, well, we only need one from your region, so if you're interested, it's going to be you. So it depends.
Let's talk a little bit about the areas that you are trying to focusing on, like the topic areas. So, like what fields are you circulating in when you are looking?
So the first years I've been focusing a lot on tourism projects.
Yeah.
So since we have a lot of smaller tourism companies, and I have a colleague that is dedicated to doing business development for tourism companies, and she's used to have some kind of project on the side as part of her work, of course. But she'll have one-on-one business development talks with the local companies, and she's also involved in some kind of a project. So that has been quite a big focus, and this could be coastal development or farm to fork projects with the tourism angle, of course. And now I've shifted a bit focus, and I'm trying to focus more on the other companies that are not tourism, because they sometimes feel overlooked, because Stevns is becoming quite a nice tourism site. So there's also a big base of companies that think, well, we are more than just the cliffs. So my focus for the next time or the next year is going to be finding projects that suit them better.
Do you sometimes drag in the municipality itself? So you and the business support unit, do you just, for instance, I know, for instance, I've been seeing calls, like on smart rural communities, developing smart solutions in rural areas and stuff like this, where there would be something to do for businesses and municipality. Do you sometimes do these kind of things?
Yeah, I do that, and we are in quite good dialogue with our municipality, and they are quite new to this EU business as well as we are. So they haven't decided yet what type of project that they want to enter. So they haven't been in any EU project before. So they also need some kind of guidance, and they may have the same. They've heard the same myths as I did before I started this job. So they are interested, but they also need to focus on their own resources and not enter projects that I don't know. Yeah. They need to prioritize their time, and if a project isn't within their main focus, they won't participate, because they need to prioritize their time. We last year we participated in a Urbact application, and at that time we had the municipality as a partner, and we were their kind of sidekick in this application. So they were going to participate. However, we didn't get it home. So
no. You see, this is rural small municipalities where you don't have a lot of employees. This is a classic. How I've been working and supporting in North Denmark, and it's like this because they often don't see the point, or they see exactly so, but it's nothing but troubles and so on. So here, it always has to be something. I remember when I supported them, I was always saying, "Look." This could probably apply to your municipality as well. You should not go into this with something that you have to do anyways, energy efficiency measures or stuff like this with buildings that have to be renovated. Then the EU money they can cut down on your own. You have to, it costs less, and then that goes to your warm hands. That goes to the social sector and so on, and then they listen.
That's true.
Then the mayor and the the regional director, they see the municipality director, they see a very good point in joining the EU project. But this is typically and you would have that throughout Europe, the same problem, the same issue in relation to entering these things, because it's not necessarily seen as a good thing to join a new project.
No, I actually think that they see the good in the project, and they see a potential to boost some of their own resources. It's also a timing question, because it has to be timed with the right project that fits Stevns as well, and then having a employee that can do the work, because as I said before, it's quite time consuming to search and to write applications.
I think that's enough about the motivation. Maybe we should move into the organization, how you have organized yourself. Now, how have you built it up? Is it so you're the core person, core responsible for? But otherwise, how have you organized yourself in the organization with this approach?
Well, it's me that does all the work. I do the searching. If we are matched with somebody, I do the negotiations. I help write the applications. Of course, I have discussions with my colleagues or my manager. But basically, I'm the one that everybody contacts with regards to these projects. So I'm working. I'm doing that full time. And
so this doesn't matter what. So also the financial administration stuff like this, when you're inside a project, you are dealing with that.
Well, we have an accountant to do that, but we haven't had the luck to do into any EU projects yet. But we have I have applied for some Danish funded projects. So when we get them, I'm also the project manager. In time, I'm hoping really much that is going to change, because that's a lot of work. It's going to be 3 or 4 jobs in one that I'm doing right now, because I'm searching, I'm the project management. I make sure that we have contact with the right companies, and I do the evaluation and the wrap up. So that's quite a lot, and for one person. So when we do get EU projects, I think we're going to change that, because that would be too much for one person.
And that's you're mirroring a condition that would be the same for many organizations like yours throughout Europe. That you are a small unit. There's only one person that can take it. The rest of the persons have other responsibilities tied to that. So it's I knew this when I put up the rundown,
Mm.
but it's important for me that you tell about it.
Yeah.
So people they can feel heard out there. And you're like that you're not the only ones out there.
Yeah.
So this is exactly the conditions. Small organizations working with this, you have to be juggling.
Yeah.
And then things will change when you get projects home, because then you have funding, you have actually money to hire people.
Yeah.
On project terms, as long as it runs, but you actually have the possibility to get in manpower to cover these things.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And that's, you could say that is our strategy of how to build our organization, that new employees, they will come through projects.
How is it with do you have sort of have you made an agreement with the board on the principles of how to approach with the organization? So you are it, but do you have something that you have promised the board around the approach?
Yeah, of course there is, because this is a priority for them, and they have their fingers crossed that I get some projects home, and my success with entering projects. If I don't get any projects home, I won't have a job, actually. So my success is dependent on having to enter projects, because
what a nice KPI.
Yeah. Yeah. If you want to stay, you need to find your own salary.
Lovely, relaxing KPI. It's just one.
Yeah. You just make your own salary, and plus some more. But it keeps me on my feet.
That's true. And many out there will understand perfectly what's going on here in many positions, because I know, especially in Eastern Europe and Southern Europe, these are the conditions people they work under.
Yeah.
You can come in, do your best, but if you're not going to pull anything in, we have to let you go.
Yeah.
Because we don't have money. That's it.
Yeah. And this is if you go back to our earlier discussion about the collaboration agreement with the municipality, they don't provide any money for my salary. So my salary is 100% dependent on that we make money elsewhere, and that could be from the membership fees and other projects, of course. So I need to have some kind of success to be able to stay in this job, and this has been a condition from day one. So it's no surprise, and that's okay with me.
How are you faring? Is it? Do you get more and more? My best case is you have more and more contacts, and you have a better hang of where to find things. A better hang of possibilities. Do you also make? Have you like a call overview for yourself of where you definitely need to be heads up?
Yeah. But we. I'm not just looking for EU projects. I've actually had more success with Danish projects, which of course are smaller amounts.
Yeah.
So we are actually hoping for entering a EU project, which would give us more. It would give some what would you call it? Some more ease,
Yeah.
I would just have, then I would maybe have a 3-year funding, and then of course I would have to still search for new funding, but it wouldn't be, well, desperate is not the right kind of word, but sometimes you just feel the breath in your neck, and you need to find some new projects, and so it can be kind of stressful at times, and
a tad.
Attack.
You
Yeah.
heard it out there. If you're working with rural development EU funding calls, if you need a Danish partner
Yeah.
from a perfectly good case
Yeah.
of how to work with a little bit on the outskirts of everything. I know the region myself. It is, but there's structures there to have good conditions as a partner coming in. Contact me.
Yeah.
Reach out. You can even in the episode notes, I'm gonna put the LinkedIn profile of Mette here, so you have no excuse
Yeah, sure.
to not to reach out. Indeed.
Give me a call or an email. You're so welcome, and we're so ready for new collaborating.
This is what the grant actually can do. This is just a small marketing on my behalf. Actually, people, they do tell me, when I had been a guest in your show, people started to reach out.
Wow. Okay, so I'm quite looking forward to that, I must say. Yeah.
I will tag rural organizations in LinkedIn when I'm going to release this. So I hope that's going to bring some of it back to you.
Yeah.
Shortly about when you engage yourself, so when you move towards, when you approach proposals and say this is what we can do, do you offer yourself as a work package lead, or do you normally approach as normal partner? How do you, when you are reaching out, the role that you can step into?
Yeah, of course. We are at the moment only a partner, and that's just because we don't think we are qualified yet to be a lead for a new project. I think it's too much work to do, and I want to get the experience in joining and being in a partnership before we do it ourselves. So I've promised my manager that we're not going to lead anything before.
Don't.
Yeah, but I think it's reasonable because as have been a part of the writing process and talked to a lot of people who have been leading projects, I know that it's laborious. Yeah,
it's something else.
Yeah.
This is also a matter of, and this is also why I'm asking this question. It's perfectly a leading question because I know how it is, and you've done you're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to step into these kind of leaders. You're not supposed to get over ambitious on behalf because you have a board or management sometimes pushing for I'm very happy that this is the attitude of your management and of your board, because you need to scale up capacity as you go on. You start out when you work with this. So what you have just sort of said in the framework of what I would normally advise people when I was such an advisor or consultant, I would say, look, start nationally. Go for funding that's easy to access, because you need to understand what it is to work with a publicly funded project. You need to understand the framework conditions for stepping into such a thing. There's a lot of things that you don't know, and at least in a nationally funded or regionally funded even, it's small. And there's mistakes you can make, or the bureaucracy you get there. It's something that you can handle. If you make mistakes, if things go wrong, it's on a smaller scale where you can handle it, and you can, the workload that you don't expect and you don't know anything of when you step into a publicly funded project, it's smaller. It's more handleable, so to say, in these things. So, and then when you have tried that and know how get the hang of that, then you have the stomach to step into a larger structure, which is an EU project. But I would never advise anyone to step into a leading role of any sort.
No.
of such an organization like yours. Go in as a normal partner. Again, take what you learn from the other national funded things, take that with you, and then work on those premises, on those conditions in that EU project, and don't promise any people anything more than you can deliver. Make a perfect leverage approach to them, expectations that this is the size of the organization. It's me. This is the region I'm supporting. This is what we can do. This is what we can offer, and that's it. Don't oversell what you do just to get in. because it's not necessary, because if you're professional enough, your region can be perfectly good as well as many other regions. So that's that.
Yeah.
And then when you get the hang of that, then it's if you get home a project, then you might be able to hire someone. So the organization lifts itself up. You get more manpower in, even though it's just for the time of the project, but it's still 3 or 4 years if it's a new project. Then if you get more projects in, these persons, they can be continuing on those projects, so on and so forth. It gets easier because you will also be invited together into other projects with the ones that you work together with in those. So what you're doing now, that's the rough part, Mette.
Yeah.
It's the rough part.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, and I know that, but yeah. It's fun sometimes as well, that when you find the right consortium and you feel the chemistry and you develop your project together, it's so much fun.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Because you work together with people that understand each other, and you get interesting points of views from other parts of Europe with different, same conditions, but different framework conditions maybe, or like other things or challenges that they have. But then sometimes you can mirror things, and what happens is that often solutions to problems or challenges, it comes out things that you would never thought of yourself, but can be perfectly replicated to your region or to work with that. And because you have the funding with it, then it's not an issue of being able to, we don't have the resources to carry it out because it's part of the project. So you can test things out also, and if the local municipality you work for, they see, this works, they might politically be able to take a decision, say, we should maybe do something like this and allocate some money for this, because we can see that there is an effect.
Yeah.
Then, of course, you have the negative side if things go wrong in such a project, and you get it, and it sort of gets a dark nuances in the discussions in the board of the municipality. That you need to. I hope that they're patient.
Yeah,
because you might have some projects where think, but that sucked. Boy, that sucked.
Yeah.
But that's in the future.
Yeah, of course.
Let's not worry about that. Now we worry about you keeping your job.
Yeah.
If this would be a live show, say you can call in.
Have you ever tried losing your job?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's very well done. Let me see here my rundown. We already talked about screening of calls and possibilities, and we also talked a little bit about the networking and how you pick things up. So that's fine. Do you see it? Are there any of the the projects that you nationally, the things that you're doing? Are there anything there where you can see a synergy effect, where there are spin-off things where you have people you collaborate with in a project that says maybe we should do an EU project? Does that happen?
Not yet. But since we're kind of a forerunner municipality in Zealand, at least for entering these, or at least trying to enter EU projects, I've been quite alone in this work. Yeah. So, but at the moment, I can see that there are a few municipalities that are beginning to look into these EU projects as well. So I'm quite experienced now, and this is me giving advice to my colleagues in the other municipalities. And I'm actually meeting 2 other municipalities in February to discuss a project, because we were both in dialogue with a consortium for I think it was Interreg South Baltic, the last call, and at some point the project lead decided to pull the application. However, we Danish partners, we are going to discuss, could we do something, and could we be a small network doing projects together? So this is also giving context on the Danish side, and trying to be more strategic. Could we make a formal network, or do we know any partners in other countries that we could form? Not formal networks, but have contact to regarding projects. So we may stand stronger when entering a consortium or into an application.
Indeed, it's good to join forces.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be a bottleneck for if we come four partners, for instance, to a proposal, because then you might the door might be too narrow to get in for all four. Then you need to discuss who's joining.
Yeah.
But it's that's always an issue, right? But just zooming a little, just because I don't think we've been listing them. So the calls, the funding schemes that you're focusing on. So it's Interreg.
Yeah.
And Horizon Europe.
Yeah, we tried one. Yeah. We tried it last year, and we're not scared. It was a big step for me to enter a Horizon project, because they are just in their own league, I think. Yeah, sorry.
What I can recommend you. Listen to the grant.
Oh, thank you. That's good advice. Yeah.
No, I made it's important for you guys out there, anyways. And actually, it's not just for fun. I made the timeline series, which is breaking down the proposal process step by step, and that gives it's actually made with. I made it with the focus on everybody should be able to follow through what I'm talking about in those. There's 23 episodes, and they're all different steps there in how to do that, and that should be something that's for you. I know I realized that from this conversation that I give it a go, man. There might be some elements there. It's like a little shop. You can go in and see which elements of the process where it might be helpful. And what I want to say, Horizon Europe, if you enter as a partner in a case, for instance, might be one of these rural farms, whatever, in a corner where they need some the local rural business unit that has the contact to a lot of businesses for different purposes, for disseminating results or whatever. It might be the farming or the food industry, whatever. Where you might, because I have built up proposals on Farm to Fork, where I had smaller units like yours to go together with 3 or 4 other partners with very fenced in activities that would fit, but you're riding on the back of 30 partners. Can be scary to look at, but actually the workload of joining such a consortium, it's not that big. If you're not a leading partner, if you're not pulling technology work development, then it's accessible, I would say. But of course it requires that you identify the calls and the consortia that would need such a function. It's possible. It's just to say that I would still say you should follow your own approach. But I would also say keep it in the back of your head and try to use. I actually think that you do have out there call identifying machines where you can put in what you're looking for as an organization, and then it will list you possible funding schemes and calls that would fit that. I might be promising more than I can saying more than I can promise, but I'm quite sure there should be such tools. And that should be also very relevant for you, men, and for anyone out there in the same category as you. Use artificial intelligence, the chatbots. There you have people out there that has developed specific chatbots focusing on R&D funding. looking for calls. One of my contacts and guests here in this show, he's a one guy consultant. Yeah, he has his own company, but he has focused the last year and a half on digging himself deeply into the ChatGPT and the other chatbots, and he has developed his own. You can go and download it for free on his site, where he has developed it for his own clients to use it if they want to identify where there's funding.
Oh, really?
Because he's tired as a consultant to answer these questions to where to find funding, because it's something that the machine can do. I will dig this out and I will put it in the episode notes. I will send it to you directly, Mette, so you have. But I will put it in the episode notes on the episode page for everybody, a link to Christian's tool, because I know that it works. I know that it works very well. Yeah. So now that's a tip. Well, I think we covered more. Is there anything around the organization? Is there anything about the implementation that you want to say anything about? You said you are doing everything. But you still have someone to help with the accountancy and so on.
Yeah, we do that. But we haven't tried it in real life yet. Only with the Danish projects, and then there we have a system that works. So I guess that when we enter a EU project, it's going to be the same setup. I'm being the manager and the accountant and all these nice titles, and I may have a colleague who is going to have the more direct contact with the companies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey. All right. Let's move on to the example. So you haven't won any EU projects yet, but let's dig on to, because it's still relevant anyways, to talk a little bit about the applications that you've been involved in. So we've been circling a little bit around it here and there, but how many EU applications or proposals have you been involved in, all across all funding schemes?
Yeah. I just did some searching earlier on, and I think we have been a part of 8 EU applications, and 5 Danish within these 2 last years. So that has been a lot.
For a small organization like yours, yes.
Yeah, but they have been different sizes. So some of them have been quite small, and some of them have been quite big. And we have one Interact application that awaits approval, hopefully, in April. So that's the only one that has not been decided yet.
Okay, so that's the only one that you're pending.
Yeah.
All right. And how have your feeling been around the processes of the proposal processes, development process? How much did you do did you hand in? So you handed in the format, the information about your organization, and then how much did you hand in of the writing process? How much did you involve yourself in that?
Yeah, we actually we were part of 2 Interact consortiums for the last South Baltic call, and in the one of the projects we hardly did anything.
That's nice.
Yeah, but not at all. But sometimes it would be nice to be more involved in the process, because you just end up having so many questions. Who are the other partners? What are they doing? And this project was they had applied once before and were rejected. So they were going to resend it. So we came into the consortia in their second try. So there have been a lot of talks and discussions before we entered the consortium. So that just left us with a lot of questions. We had, of course, many discussions with the project lead, and they were quite keen to discuss anything with us. But it kind of left us that we only know our part and not what the rest of the partners was going to do. And in the other project that that we are.
But didn't you see the proposal?
Well, actually, I don't think 5 days before the call ended, they withdrew the application due to some illness. So
No.
it actually didn't get in. So it's probably going to
So
have
that was a training.
Yeah, it's probably going to have its third try in the next call.
Yeah.
But the other the other application that actually did get sent in and is being evaluated at the moment, we were quite involved in the development process, participating in a lot of online meetings with all 11 partners, discussing purpose and activities and the whole project. And the lead, they are quite accustomed and they're quite used to writing these applications, but we were part of the writing process as well, and not just our part of it, but we contributed also to some of the other categories as well. So
no, that's good. It I said nice. That was a reaction to the fact that it can be big leg breaking work to develop a proposal. But indeed, of course, also dear listeners out there, of course, it's best to have your fingerprint on what's going on. So it's also to make sure that it fits with your strategic interest in the work that's being done. So it's not, because it's not going to help you entering an EU project if it comes out on the other side, and then you have to do stuff that doesn't fit with what you're doing. Then it's just going to be a bitch to come through. And it's everybody in the organization, including your manager and your board in Mette's case here, would say, "Why on earth did we do this?" So of course, it's the most important thing is that it fits. Yeah, indeed.
But it was so interesting to be part of the writing. It was hard and difficult and fun, and you get through all emotions when you do these kind of processes, because it's so time consuming. If you're part of the whole process from idea to entering a deadline.
Yeah, that's the proposal coordinator.
Yeah, that's me as well.
Yeah, but only in your organization. I'm talking about the full proposal.
Okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, that's not me. Yeah.
Thing I forgot to check. How is it? How do you have it with funding rates? Do you because I know Interreg can sometimes be a challenge with funding rates because there's a high level of co-financing.
Yeah.
So is it something you look at when you are looking at calls and possibilities? The 100%, 70%, 50%. Do you look at that overhead and stuff like this?
Yeah, we do that. Yeah, because since we are a small organization, we would prefer the higher funding rate, the better. So and it's not that we don't want to participate in other types of applications for calls that have a lower, but we need to consider that I have my agreement with the board regarding I need to make I need to have my salary covered.
Sure.
So I have this in mind. It's not crucial, but it is important.
Let's to make sure that we catch everything here. Let's move on. Let's move on to the do's and don'ts or teachings or learnings of what like. Do you have anything you want to share with people in the similar kind of organization as yours, Mette, on things that you learned through these processes, these couple of years? Is there anything you want to share?
Yeah, I think the first is that we've always been welcome to join consortiums. I thought that since we were new to this, it would be more difficult to enter somebody because we don't have the experience and we rely on other people telling us how to do it. But I've met nothing but kindness and helpfulness from everybody that I've been in contact to, and they were just, well, we like to have newcomers as well. So this is a great learning, I think, a nice experience for us. That it's easier to when you're welcomed into partnerships. Yeah.
So I'm happy to hear that you had good experiences, because as time moves on, you will also experience partners where there's friction.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to hear that you had good experiences. Anything else? Do you have any do's and don'ts?
Yeah, but I think you actually you actually mentioned some of them then as how to approach these kind of consortia or partners, where to find them, how to find them, make sure that the strategies align from your side and from everybody else's side.
Maybe from what you said, my guess is that please do, is that to reach out to people who can help you.
Yeah. Because
guidance.
It has been very helpful for me to find people who know more than me about these kind of projects. And the first one I reached out to was an old colleague who did EU project for another municipality. So he was my first contact. How do I approach this? And he said, well, you contact the EU, your office, and you contact some of the secretariats or contact points for each program.
The national contact.
Yeah.
National contact. Yeah, so it's been Eurocenter as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the first is just to learn the system and find somebody who can help you along the way. And then I'm just trying to be active everywhere.
Yeah, there are things that the multiplicator effect, so to say, as I call it. Right? You get someone who's been doing this before that can help take off a lot of the initial haze to understand a little bit. That's easing your work, and then there's work you cannot avoid doing.
Yeah.
It's like this. You can't avoid writing emails. You can't avoid reaching out to people. You can't avoid desktop on identifying partners, proposals. And you have different strategies. She made an approach. I gave also some tips here. You cannot. That's just, you have to sit down and just put a headset on while you do the desktop and and listen to the music, because it takes a while. There's no way around it.
No, there are no shortcuts to this. I was just considering, do I have any don'ts? Don't be too ambitious. Maybe.
Realistic expectations.
Yeah. Because I thought that this was going to be easy peasy, and by end of 2022, I was just going, okay, we're going to have so many collaborations,
millions of euros.
Yeah, we're going to swim in them here in Stevns.
They're gonna ask me to stop.
Yeah. Please don't
give us more money.
Yeah. And that didn't happen. Not yet, at least. I'm waiting for it. No, but be realistic, because it's time consuming, and it's hard, and it's demotivating when you get rejected. So I don't have any other don'ts.
We're almost reaching the end. Then my segment that I always have, the toughest challenge. It's in the same ball game here. So the toughest challenge. What has been the toughest challenge dealing with this? approaching EU funds?
The toughest is definitely to find the right partners, and
Yeah.
that has been my what I've been doing most in these past 2 years. So it's difficult, even though that I have help and I get suggestions from everybody. It's a slow process because when you find somebody, you need to connect with them, and you need to find out, is there any match between our needs? Do we have some projects in common? And when you are in that process, you don't necessarily have the time to be open to others. So you have you meet somebody, you get to know their needs, and because this is only me doing these projects, I can't be in dialogue with 10 people at the time regarding projects. I need to balance my time as well. So this is a curved line regarding to how to find people, see if the needs are right, decision making time. Do we enter? Do we not? And if we don't, we're starting again this curve, right? So this is this is the toughest challenge, balancing the time, and
so resource and efforts in relation needed to
at least when you're one doing this. I guess it's easier if you are more than one, but I guess you'll meet the same kind of challenges as well.
When I was sitting working for the offshore wind sector in Brussels, I was alone in Brussels. I had a stagiaire, a student, every like sitting and helping a little, but I did most myself. And so it was a similar way. So I tried all this multiplicator effect. I was sitting in Brussels. That makes a difference. When it comes to the networking, it made a difference because that's where you eventually, because there's so much happening in that city, right? So I attended a lot of stuff, and then it opened up. I also did a lot of desktop, but it's true. I understand perfectly well the resource, the balancing what. Sometimes you're doubting a lot on which thing you should focus on.
Yeah.
The resources on, and it's, there's no way around it. Just to keep trying, because eventually it's going to open up. And as I said, when it opens up, when you get that first funding, when that it's going to carry a lot of other things with it. Everything's going to be easier from the first time. It is. On that positive note, hopefully, the silver lining. We will end this episode. Thank you so much. I'm just going to land the episode, and then before we say goodbye to the listeners, so dear listeners, thank you so much for listening to the end. I hope you enjoyed listening to this specific episode on rural development and how to try to tap into the EU funding to help development and growth for companies in such a region. To find more episodes, go and check out thegrant.eu. This is where you find my back catalog. I should be around 100 episodes now, so there should be something, if you're interested in this, also to tap in on that side. And when you're there, you can go and please subscribe to my email list. This is how I, as an independent podcaster, develops talking about growth. So please subscribe to that. You only get an email when I release an episode. Last thing to say is that follow me on LinkedIn if you don't already do that. This is where the fun happens. This is where the flow of information runs. This is where I share stuff coming from the community, from all my contacts on developments within the funding world, with news on seminars, stuff, trainings, whatever you can think of within this world. So do that. That's that. Mette, thanks for dropping by.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me and finally convincing me that I should do this. It's been so much fun. Yeah.
It's great content. I can promise you, many people sit with the same conditions as you out there.
Yeah.
So I can reassure you, this is something that a lot of people will appreciate. So thanks for opening up the window to your organization and your challenges with them.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, let's say goodbye to the dear listeners. Bye.
Bye.